What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson, and like I said in the last review, this is coming late because I've been really, really busy. But this is the fall finale of Bones, and coming back to back for some reason. I don't know why they did two episodes in one night, but right after what I called my last review a pointless episode, and started off fairly strong. Um, when I saw it was the fall finale, I was like, oh, okay, so this might be interesting. I think they might take this somewhere. Who knows? And so when it started off with the body and the explosion, I was like, holy crap! So they could turn this around. They could turn this night around. They really, really could. If they make some certain decisions here and there, if they don't make certain decisions here and there, they could turn this night around. Problem is, they made most of the decisions that I didn't want them to. I'm just gonna be honest. Like, it was a kind of intense episode at moments, but for the most part, for a fall finale that started off with a bang, literally, they really just took that idea, took that concept, and said, meh, let's play it safe. And that's pretty much what they did. Uh, they have all the cops die that were next to the body, except for Aubrey and Hodgins. Aubrey shelters Hodgins. The one thing they did right, I'm going to go ahead and name off a couple things they did wrong, and then the one or two things they did right. One thing they did right, kept Aubrey alive. If they killed off Aubrey, I would have stopped watching the show. Mainly because he is the saving grace. Okay, maybe not the saving grace. One thing I didn't talk about in my last review, mainly because it really didn't affect the review or the episode at all. But the one character that just stays true is Aubrey. He's the same every single episode. His character does not change. And I mean that in a good way, because I know that sounds like, oh, so he's just stagnant. No, in the last episode, these characters were acting so weird and out of place, and Aubrey is just always Aubrey. He's the one character that I enjoy, and he still stays enjoyable no matter what the episode, no matter how bad the episode. He's always enjoyable. But when episodes are as bad as the last one, it's just like, I don't want to talk about Aubrey in that episode, so I'm going to save him for an episode that wasn't as pointless. Um, but yeah, in the last episode, it had that one scene where he's eating, and he's always eating. I love the characters reacting to him. He's just like eating. Like, what are you eating? It's like, I'm just eating a little bit. He's funny, and he really does have good character. And I feel really bad for the guy that plays Aubrey, because he's in a cast of wood right now. Like, he's the one human in a cast full of planks. Like, they're all just reading scripts at this point, because they're like some casts. Some of them, whenever they've been a character for so long, become that character so well that they're in character all the time. And then some just become so one note characters. And that's what Bones, the cast, has become. Like, they've been these characters for so long that they're just the same stuff episode after episode. No matter what's going on, they're one note, they're monotone, and it gets bland. So it's nice, not only nice to see Aubrey injected into the show for some new blood, but also, just nice to see a new character. Somebody that actually acts like a character, not these wooden boards that just do the same stuff, say the same lines episode after episode. It really does get boring to watch. But Aubrey in this episode, it looks like he had protected Hodgins from the blast, so it was kind of like, oh, like, okay, like, at first I was like, okay, they're not going to kill them off, so they're probably both going to be, and then Hodgins is okay, and I'm like, oh, okay, so Aubrey is going to be the one in intensive care for a while. And sure enough, he was, and then it's like, oh, he might not make it, and then he does make it, and you're just like, okay, I've seen this done before, thank goodness they're doing it again. Because if they had killed him off, it would have been the most interesting thing about this episode, but also made it 10 times worse because it's Aubrey. Um, so they did that right. A couple other things they did wrong. Like I said, they did the cliche thing again where it looks like he might not make it and he lost a lot of blood, but he pulled out okay. So they did that cliche again. Nothing new or original about it. Just same old, same old. I'm trying to. I guess I'll talk about what's her name. Why I forget her name again? The lady that helps Booth a lot. Karen? Maybe? I don't. Why am I forgetting names? Wow. But yeah, it's the older uh, the older black lady. She was on like that Disney show. She's in that one Geico commercial with Europe. Um, but she's like she is probably my favorite character of all of Bones. Like she just has the best lines, and in this one she's okay. She's not as good as she normally is. But her working off a booth, just kind of isn't as strong as it normally is, and that's something that really frustrated me because when she was on, I was like, yes, more of her, and then nothing really came out of that. Nothing. I was like, that's stuff I've seen all the time. Like I want to see more stuff from her, not the same old, same old. Um, they brought in a behavioral something that was completely pointless. I think if she's coming back, terrible decision. Um, like literally, she just I don't understand why she was there. Like she gets there to help Booth, like build a profile for the guy that bombed the body, and she really, I mean, she said one line that gave them a clue, I think, and then she didn't appear until the end just to explain why the bad guys were the way they were, which I've seen Criminal Minds, so I probably could have guessed. Um, but yeah, she seemed kind of pointless to be there, and if she's a new character on the show, that would be a bummer because she really isn't that interesting. She's like always forgetful, she's ditzy, and she's like, how'd you make it into the FBI? Like, you forget stuff all the time. Really? They would let somebody like this into the FBI? I'm going to go apply to the FBI right now. Excuse me. Just kidding. No, but I mean seriously, like she just seems so clumsy and ditzy and forgetful. Like, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. I left this, I left that, and I'm just like, I thought FBI agents were supposed to be a bit more organized than that. So I don't know. That seemed pointless. Then the other thing is Hodgins and Angela. I talked about in the last one, like, Hodgins did the right thing telling Angela, I'm not ready for a kid. And Angela acted weird about him, like, why? In this episode, Hodgins says, I'm ready to have a kid. And she's just like, okay, but first let's catch the killer. I'm just like, okay. Everybody on the show is stupid. Everybody, except for Aubrey, on the show is stupid. Like, it's frustrating to me to see this cliche done in this way with nobody protesting it. Character doesn't want to do something because he's not ready, blah blah blah. Whatever the reason, whether it's a good reason, whether it's a bad reason, they have a reason. Near death happens. They decide, I'm ready now. I could die at any moment. Half the time, this cliche is done fairly well because the other person realizes, okay, this is just heat of the moment stuff. Like, you nearly died. You need to just take a breath and figure this out later because, this is something that you need to decide when you're not feeling like you could die at any moment. You know, you almost just died. The adrenaline is high, you're not thinking clearly. And then the other half, it's done like this, where the other person just says, okay. And it just, that's pretty much how they did this. Like, Angela's just extremely happy because now he wants to have a second kid. I'm just like, no, you idiot, he's not. He nearly died, so he's not thinking clearly right now. So why don't... And they don't even touch on it. Like, I don't know if the writers are just deciding, yeah, he's okay with... That doesn't happen in real life. People don't just change their minds because they almost died. They have a moment where they think they changed their mind, and then that moment fades away, and they're just like, never mind. That was just in the heat of the moment. And, you know, I'm not saying this never, ever happens, that people don't change their mind in situations like this, but most of the time, when something intense happens like this, yeah, they change their mind right then, but then once the moment's over, they're just like, wait, that was a decision I made in the heat of the moment. I'm sorry, I'm not really ready. So they don't even touch on it. Angela's just happy. She's all like, okay, and that's that. The case itself, I was hoping it was going to be interesting. I was like, ooh, is it like some assassin? Is it somebody that's like a serial killer? Is this... No, it's the two kids at the beginning who were skateboarding. Are your artistic... Are your writing capabilities so blocked? That's the most clever thing you can come up with. That's it. Two kids killed police officers and had enough know-how to put pipe bombs in them, and stood by and knew that standing by would make them look less suspicious, and somehow did make them less suspicious. And that's it. First of all, I did have a problem when the FBI didn't even question them or the guy. He reminded me of Nightcrawler. If you saw that movie with Jake Gyllenhaal, I mean that's what he reminded. Like the guy, he apparently intercepted the cop radio and then heard about a dead body, so he went to check it out with his camera. They were not questioned at all. The kids weren't questioned. That guy wasn't questioned. I was like, wait a minute, why? Like, those were the first people on the scene. Those are the people you questioned first. You know, did you see anybody? Blah, blah, blah. They didn't question them. Mainly because they wanted it to be a twist later when it was like, oh, it was actually the kids. Bet you didn't see that one coming. Of course I didn't see it coming because it's freaking stupid. I mean, are you kidding me? Are you really kidding me? Two kids, two teenagers, had enough guile and know-how to figure out this whole plan and nearly blow a bunch of people up, and almost got away with it if it weren't for the fact that their skateboard stuff didn't get whatever. Like, honestly, that... When that was the ending, when those two were the bad guys, I seriously nearly just turned it off and walked away and walked out into the street. Because it killed my brain cells. It killed almost all of my brain cells. I was like, in a world where you've got so many serial killers, you've got guys like Christopher Plante, you could have come up with a new baddie. You could have come up with a new bad guy, a new serial killer to, like, really up the suspense, to have him not be caught, or have him be caught and then escape from prison. Do something to up the suspense, to make me want to watch this show more. And you make it two kids who instantly get caught because of skateboards. It made me want to punch a baby. I mean, if you ever want to punch a baby, that's the sign that you should probably stop watching. I have more self-control, but if you feel like punching a baby, you probably should stop watching. Because I really wanted to punch a baby. I really did. It was so stupid. And I could go on forever about how stupid it was, but I'm sure you guys are tired of hearing me talk about how stupid it was. But yeah, so, two kids are the bad guys. Honestly, in that moment, I was just like, okay, this show is officially off the deep end. They don't care anymore. They're just throwing crap on the screen, thinking, oh yeah, people are still watching. I'll be surprised if they get confirmed for season 12. I may not even watch because it's embarrassing at this point. Um, anyway, on to the even more frustrating part of this episode. Cam and what's his face, Arastoo. Yes, the one thing that pissed me off the most about last episode was Cam and this artist guy, and so the writers thought to themselves, you know what would piss people off even more? If we brought Arastoo back. Because then all the love triangle bullcrap would happen and people would just hate it. And I did. I absolutely hated it. I talked about how much I hate Cam in the last episode. So this episode, I'm going to talk about how much I hate this love triangle bullcrap. Because, first of all, you don't need it. You know, Arastoo, yeah, he's a great guy, and obviously he loves her, and he comes back for her, and she's just like, you know, oh, you can't do this, blah, blah, blah. It cut away from what was going on so much. I have an issue with that. I have a huge issue with shows. If you watch my Supergirl reviews, you know this is true. I have an issue when shows cut away from the main plot to make time for relationship bullcrap. I really do. And this show has been known, you know, the relationship stuff has always been on the outside. This is the first time it took main stage. I mean, half of this episode was the bombing stuff, the other half was Cam and Arastoo. And then that one little bit was like Angela and Hodgins. That was it. You know, that was pretty much it. And that's frustrating because first of all, I don't even at this point I want Cam to just like I kind of wish Cam had been the one next to the body instead of Hodgins. Anyway, but you know she's with this guy and she's just like, well, I don't know if it's serious. If it's like, well, if you don't know, then it's not serious. It's like, look, I have this. You know, at first he said he didn't have a job offer at all. I'm like, so they're going the cliche route, like, you know, he hasn't gotten a job since he left and all this stuff. Finally says at the end, which you know was a little bit less cliche, I guess, than normal, but it says that he has a job offer in Berlin, but it's not here. You know, you're here. She's like, can we not do this? And I'm just like, please, can we not? Thankfully, it gets interrupted, and I'll get to that part in a second. But just to talk about this Cam and Arastoo thing, I think it's pointless. I think it's absolutely pointless to have this in this episode at all, and to have it be a main point where Hodgins, after nearly being blown up, is talking to Cam like, are you okay? And she thinks what every sensible person would think he's talking about. Yeah, you know, I was standing far enough away from the bomb. You should be the one asking if it's like, no, because your ex-boyfriend's here. I'm like, seriously? Hodgins? Really? You nearly get blown up and you're just like, oh, your ex is here. You want to talk about that? You guys, I'm just... I don't understand. I don't understand, Bones Riders. Please contact me at go on my channel, find my email, send me a message saying why you've made such stupid decisions for the season because it's pissing me the hell off. Anyway, so all that said, does it have a saving grace at the end? Maybe. Depends on where it goes. because whenever I have to say I didn't see this one coming, and I'm really wondering where they're going with this. So it's probably the only good decision. Well, not the only good decision, but the only decision they made that will bring me back for the second half of this season. As Cam and Arastoo are doing their bullcrap, you hear Angela scream. I'm like, oh crap. And sure enough, Hodgins, who apparently was affected more by the blast than they realized because something that he had doesn't show for the first 2 days, and because he was taking what was it, ibuprofen or aspirin or something like that, it like swelled up and gave him an epidural hematoma, maybe. But now he's paralyzed. Like at first I was like, is he dead? And they're just like, no, he's paralyzed. I'm like, oh my gosh, like that's interesting. That is very interesting. Where are you going with this, Bones? Are you guys just making me think you stupid so you can turn it around and be like, see, we're not stupid? But that's the only thing about this episode that got me interested for the next half of the season. What do I think about where they're going with that? I don't know. If I had to guess, I don't even have a guess. Because, like, if he wasn't going to be on the show anymore, why not just kill him off instead of paralyzing him? But maybe... I don't know. Because here's the thing. It's... If they wanted to bring on a new cast member to replace Hodgins, it would make more sense to kill him off, not have Hodgins be, like, paralyzed. And plus that would be more emotional for Angela to have to deal with. Than, obviously it's pretty emotional right now having her husband be paralyzed, but a death I feel like would not only be more impactful, especially because it's Hodgins who's been on the show since the beginning, but just to have him paralyzed is almost like, we want to take him out of the Jeffersonian but not out of the show completely. I'm like, how are you gonna... I don't understand how you can do that. Because the whole point of him being on the show right now is because he's Bug Boy. Like, he has no other purpose on the show, to be honest. And neither does Angela, for that matter. At least she does some friendship stuff with Bones from time to time, but Hodgins literally is just Bug Boy. So if you take that away from him, it's like, he has no point to the show anymore. So I don't know. I don't know where they're going with it. It was, like I said, it was an unexpected ending. Whether or not it's good, yet to be seen. But the rest of the episode just really, really pointless. Not pointless, stupid. Cam and Arastoo stuff, I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I hate Cam right now. I hate love triangles. So all of this epic hate is what it led to. And in the case, could have been an interesting case. They made it stupid. So overall, I'm really frustrated. I hope the second half of the season can at least not be stupid. Like, if they go back to being boring, I actually prefer that at this point than just making dumb decisions. But yeah, that's how I feel. So, how do you feel? Do you hate the show? Do you not? Let me know in the comments below. Leave a like and subscribe if you want to see me rage on Bones in the next half of the season. Or if you just want to see the show get better, just like I do. Same thing. So, now, on to a better show for Thursday nights. But see you guys in the next review. Peace out.